Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Only for today?
As long as you want.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank you for convening this hearing to discuss our surface transportation programs. Our nation's infrastructure is falling further and further into a state of disrepair every day, and it's our duty as being members of this committee to address it and to get a long-term bill done. The Safety Lou created commissions that studied the nation's need to invest in our infrastructure, specifically for the purpose of informing on the decision that we're talking about now. Through this process, the National Surface Transportation Policy and Revenue Study Commission concluded that we must invest $225 billion annually from all sources to bring our infrastructure up to state and in good repair. While the federal government is clearly not the sole source and will be exploring private-public partnerships, one of many, we all know that it's the primary source, and thus our investment must be up to scale to meet the Commission's the charter that they've given us. Congestion is crippling our major cities. The quality of our transportation system is deteriorating. Almost 61,000 miles, 37% of our roads are in poor or fair condition, and 152,000 bridges are 25% structurally deficient. When you consider all of these things, unfortunately, the Highway Trust Fund is not collecting sufficient amount of receipts to be able to enable us to make the repairs that are necessary. The President has laid out a good start of his bill proposal of $556 billion over 6 years. He also has included in that a national infrastructure bank and other innovative financing ideas to help bring this sort of investment to fruition. We saw with the American Recovery and Investment Act that through the $64.1 billion, it created 1.8 million jobs and $323 billion in economic activity. We must think of additional creative ways. I've suggested several that I believe the chairman and our ranking member are both aware of. I won't go too much into detail with them. However, I will say one thing I think is absolutely necessary, and that is a goods movement trust fund. We've suggested on the table a 12% increase, a diesel tax that has been supported by the industry itself. There are other things that we should consider, such as a TIFIA enhancement, which would enable better financing, and also considering, as we've labeled, the JESSA bill, which would enable us to make environmental changes as well. Because I do know you, Mr. Duncan, I've actually cut my comments by about 20% of what I had here, because I know he likes us to keep it brief. But it would suffice to say we're looking forward to working in a bipartisan fashion. However, we know, we hope that you will be open to consider innovative financing as a part of that proposal. I yield back and submit my final statement for the record.
Well,